Well, good morning. Hope you're having a great week. It is, well, I guess it's still evening. It is Friday night. I'm not 100% sure what the date is. I think it's November 17th. I'm sure you can figure it out if you're that curious. And it is 11:56 p.m. Central Standard Time. Local time here in Oklahoma City. I'm at home if you can't tell. I am just leaving the house and I'm driving over to where I parked the truck. Gonna get some things accomplished tonight. Gonna do some things. So what I'm doing tonight is I'm going to replace the batteries in the truck. We'll talk more about that in a second. Let's go over what's happened since the last video real quick. And I hope the audio is decent, because I'm not using a headset or anything like that. Just the mic off the phone, but it should be quiet enough in here that the audio is decent. So, my last load was from Cleveland, Ohio to Wichita, Kansas. Trade show load. It was just a couple of crates that weighed like 2,100 pounds according to the freight bill. And I don't think they were that heavy. But I delivered them Monday morning. And then I went to a truck stop about a mile away. And I sat there until Wednesday night. I was looking for a load, and I was looking for a very specific load because I had to get a DOT inspection done on the trailer. And the ABS is not functional. The trailer hasn't had functional ABS. I've made several videos about it. I've talked about it several times because I've had this trailer probably 8 months out of this year, which is unheard of. Whenever you're using a company trailer at a company that does a lot of drop and hooks, this person didn't even fucking stop. They just drove right out into the damn road. They didn't even stop to look if there was oncoming traffic. They got a paper tag on the car. It's probably some kid that just got their first car. So, sorry, I'm having to watch out for this idiot. They're speed matching me. I don't like it when people hang out near me. Either go faster than me or slower than me. Don't go the same fucking speed as me near me. So, I was looking for a specific load because I needed to get this DOT inspection done, and I knew the trailer had an issue. So, if they did a DOT inspection and they found the issue, just a second, that car hit the curb. The curb is right on, there isn't a shoulder on this road. I think this might be a drunk driver or something. They're inebriated, they're stoned or something. Or they're distracted, you know. Distracted drivers drive exactly the same as drunk drivers. But I wanted to put the trailer in the shop to get a DOT inspection done in a major city. That way, they would have access to parts. They wouldn't have to get them shipped in. I wouldn't have to be down for a week or two while they're working on the damn thing. And the two nearest major cities were Oklahoma City and Kansas City. Wichita is a decent-sized city, but they don't have a Landstar DOT inspector in Wichita. And Oklahoma City was the closest major city to where I was at, and it happens to be where I live. So if I get shut down for a week while they're working on it, you know, I can go home. So I decided to deadhead to Oklahoma City, which was like 150 miles away from Wichita. Just a second here. Just watching to see if this truck pulls over in my lane. So I drove down Wednesday night and I went straight to the TA truck stop here in town. And, you know, instead of letting them just do the DOT inspection and see if they found the ABS issue, I went ahead and told them up front that the ABS didn't work. I wanted to get it fixed so I don't have to worry about it anymore. It's passed at least 3 DOT inspections without ABS. The ABS has probably never functioned on the trailers. It's an almost brand new trailer. It's a 2022 year model trailer. I think it was manufactured in May of 21. But I don't like being in this lane because there's a couple of businesses that run their sprinklers and they just flood the road. And I've seen them running those sprinklers in the middle of winter when it's snowing. You know, it just creates a big sheet of ice in the road. There's like 2 businesses that do it, and I don't know why the city has never done anything about it. There are ordinances against that. You know, flooding a roadway is a safety issue. But anyway, I went ahead and told them about the ABS because I wanted it fixed. And I was hoping I would be out of there by noon. That was like my hope and my dream, was to be out of the shop by noon. I was hoping they'd be able to troubleshoot it overnight, and then whenever the parts shop opened up at 8 a.m., they'd be able to get the parts and get it replaced really quick, and I'd be out of there by noon. Well, it turns out they had a spare ECU, which is the part that the last TA wanted to replace because their diagnostic equipment could not communicate with the computer on the trailer. So they went ahead and swapped out the ECU with a spare that they had on hand, and that did not fix the problem. So they started troubleshooting some more, and they found an exposed wire. There was a wire that runs to the ECU or something that was ripped open or something like that. They had a picture of it that they were going to show me, but they never got around to it. But anyway, I don't know if they replaced or repaired the wire, but they supposedly got the issue fixed. And then whenever I was about to leave, I checked the ABS light, and the ABS light still wasn't working. So I called them over, and I was like, the ABS light still isn't coming on. And they're like, oh yeah, it does that sometimes. They just played stupid. Like, they knew they fucked up, but they didn't want to admit that they fucked up. So they were like playing it off like, oh, that's how it's supposed to work, or something like that. And I think this guy's trying to cut me off to take this exit. I could out accelerate them real easy, but I'm not going to be an asshole like that. Oh, it looks like they're not taking the exit. So they went and looked at it, and they were like, yeah, it's not supposed to do that or something. And I explained to them that the light is supposed to come on for 2 seconds whenever you turn the truck on or connect the cable. When it goes through diagnostics, it's supposed to go through it for 2 seconds. The light's supposed to come on and go back off. And he went over there and started looking at it, had me disconnect and reconnect the cable, and then he popped the bulb out, and then he got his voltmeter out and tested it, and then he pulled a replacement bulb and installed it, and then all of a sudden it started working. So the bulb was out, as well as the ABS was not functioning at all. And then after he got it fixed, he was like, you know, I'll admit to you, I didn't test it. You know, once I fixed that wire, the diagnostic equipment told me the ABS was working, and I honestly didn't check the light. And I was like, it's all good as long as we get there in the end. So he replaced the bulb, and he didn't even bother writing that up and charging Landstar for the bulb or the labor to replace it. He was so embarrassed. But now the ABS works on the trailer. That's fucking awesome. So then I went, he got finished at like 7. I remember I had to drive across town during rush hour. He got finished at like 6:15. But because of the bulb issue, I ended up not making out of there until like 6:45. So I had to drive across town during rush hour. And then I went to the house. So that's what's been going on with me. Now let's talk about this battery situation. I've been doing a lot of research on batteries for a while, because I've been having battery issues with the truck, and because I've been thinking about off-grid living. I've been thinking about solar panels. You know, I looked into getting solar panels. Like, I'm thinking about buying my own trailer, and if I get my own trailer, I want to put belly storage on it, and I'm also thinking about putting solar panels across the roof. Well, I've also been thinking about putting solar panels on the roof of the truck, because I may never end up getting my own trailer. And I've also been looking into solar panels for off-grid living. I've been thinking about selling my house, buying a piece of land out in the middle of nowhere, and just having a barn built on it, and then converting part of that barn into a living space. So I've been looking into batteries for a while, and the battery situation in the truck is getting worse and worse as the weather is getting colder and colder. Batteries don't work as well in cold weather. So it's already a problem with the batteries, and it's just getting worse and worse. And the problem with the batteries is that they don't last very long. My APU is constantly running to keep the batteries charged. The APU will run for like an hour or two charging the batteries, and then it'll turn off, and then the voltage will drop below 12.2, and the APU will kick on like 30 minutes after, you know, running on just the batteries for only like 30 minutes, the APU will kick on and start charging them again. So the APU is running for 18 to 20 hours a day to maintain the batteries and keep them charged. The batteries are holding like almost no charge at all. I'm gonna stay in my lane. There's an RV broke down under the bridge here. At least they got triangles out. Oh, it's not even an RV. It's the shell of a bus on a trailer. Or the shell of an RV on a trailer. Damn. What's with all these people? So, normally the APU is running all the time to maintain temperature. It's running a lot for climate control inside the truck. But now that we're in the winter months, I was expecting to save some fuel because the APU doesn't need to run as much for climate control. But now the APU is actually running more to keep the batteries charged, because when it's doing climate control, it'll just run for 15 or 30 minutes to get to the correct temperature, and then it'll turn off. Now, eventually, the batteries will get drained to a point where it will run for 2 or 3 hours. It'll kick into, like, it'll detect the voltage is too low, and it'll run for 2 or 3 hours to charge the batteries. But in general, it runs less when I have it on climate control, because it's turning on and off all the time. But, you know, now I don't even have it turned. I don't even have climate control turned on. I'm just using the diesel heater to keep the truck warm on the inside, and the APU is running like 18 to 20 hours a day because of the batteries. So I've been doing a lot of research on batteries, and I have decided to replace my batteries. So I have normal flooded lead acid batteries in the truck. There are 3 major types of batteries. I'm not going to get to talking about every type of battery, like gel batteries and VALR, VSLR, whatever the hell they are, and stuff like that. We're going to talk about the 3 main types of batteries. There are flooded lead acid batteries, which are your standard batteries used in almost all cars and trucks. They've been the standard batteries for decades. I don't know when we started using them, but we've been using flooded lead acid batteries forever in automotive. A new type of lead acid battery is AGM, absorbed glass material. So flooded batteries have liquid in them. If you pop the top off of a flooded battery, you can just drain liquid out of it. Liquid will pour out of it. An AGM battery, an absorbed glass material battery, all of that liquid that's normally in a battery is absorbed into a glass material. So it's a solid battery. There's no like liquid that you can dump out of it. If you were to cut it open, and you can go watch videos on AGM batteries, they are solid. Got a couple special motherfuckers speeding through town. Probably a couple of kids thinking they're really cool because they can press the pedal down. Oh my goodness. That is so amazing. You can press a pedal down. I bet you're a fucking honor student. Now, I don't want to be ageist, you know. Stupid people come in all shapes, sizes, colors, and ages. People don't generally get much smarter as they age. So, those could have been old people. So anyway, we have flooded lead acid, then we have absorbed glass material lead acid, and then we have lithium. Those are the 3 main types of batteries. We're not even going to talk about lithium. Lithium is by far the best battery of those 3, but lithium is not an automotive battery. There are a few lithium batteries that are designed for automotive. I've never seen one designed for like a car or a truck. All of the lithium batteries I've seen are for small automotive stuff like motorcycles and shit like that. Did this asshole just throw a can out of the truck and I ran over it? Or was that already in the road? That kind of pisses me off. So, we need to be in this lane anyway. That right lane goes exit only in a couple of miles. So we're just going to talk about the two lead acid batteries. You have flooded and AGM. One's a liquid battery and the other one's a solid battery. The AGM battery is far superior to the flooded battery, and they are much more expensive. They are like 3 to 5 times the price of flooded batteries. AGM batteries, the normal price range for an AGM battery is between $300 and $600. Flooded batteries for the trucks, right around $100. The high-end, more expensive stuff is around $150, $170. Actually, the 3 different batteries the Volvo sells are between $80 and $111. So, huge price difference between them. But AGM is quite a bit superior to flooded. One of the big things is that AGM batteries charge 5 times faster than flooded. It takes a long time to charge a flooded battery. Another thing is that they discharge like 3 to 5 times slower. So if you did not have the battery hooked up to anything, you just had it sitting there, a flooded battery would lose like 15% charge or more in a month. Whereas an AGM battery would lose like 6 to 9% charge in a month. So they're much more efficient at holding a charge. They charge much faster. And they work better at lower temperatures. You don't see the massive performance drop at low temperatures that you see in flooded batteries. They still don't work as well in low temperatures, but it's not as bad as flooded. What are some other things, some other differences? What in the hell's going on up here? A couple of cars on the shoulder. I'm not taking this exit, I'm taking the next exit after this one. I'm sure that there are other differences between them. I can't think of them right now. Oh, lifespan. Flooded battery lifespan is typically around 3 years. AGM battery typical lifespan is about 7 years. So they're supposed to last over twice as long as flooded batteries. They can go through many more charge cycles than flooded batteries. Shit's going on over here. We got a couple more vehicles on the side of the road right here. Go for it, FedEx. There's a FedEx terminal right there. I picked up a couple loads from there. So I think I've done a decent job of explaining the differences between them. Also, the flooded batteries that I have, I've looked them up online. I didn't do any research whenever these batteries were purchased. The shop right here that I use, that I also park my truck at, they just bought batteries for me. I didn't know what brand they were or anything. Well, I went and looked at the batteries that are installed in there, and they are Exide Power Boost, or no, Power Breed. Exide Power Breed. I've got the model number off of them, and everything I've read online says that they are the shittiest batteries that you can possibly buy. So this should be, oh, awesome. The gate is open. The gate may be broke and they just left it open, because when I came in here on Wednesday, whenever I got home, the gate was only open about halfway. Or maybe they forgot to close the gate or set it to auto close or whatever. Or maybe there's somebody here, or maybe somebody just went through it and it just hasn't shut yet. I don't know. It still hasn't closed. It doesn't stay open that long normally. Well, somebody's out here. They probably just came through the gate. And there's somebody right there. Nope, that's not somebody. That's just a tarp hanging off of a window. Looks like somebody has a broken window and they tarped it, and the tarp came loose and just hanging from the window. It looked like somebody standing next to a car. But yeah, I'm hoping that it's going to be a massive upgrade, because back when I was in training at USA Truck, I was in training for a month, and my trainer had weekends off, and I would sit in the truck all weekend long, sometimes 3 and 4 day weekends. And you know what? I should have parked the other way, but we're not going to redo it. I'll sit here and finish my story. Wow, I've just turned my lights off. Those are my daytime running lights, and the camera, it looks like I have my regular headlights on. Let's turn my headlights on. There they are. It's got everything all lit up. So when I was there on the weekends, it was in February, so I didn't need to run the truck very often to maintain temperature. And I had my laptop with me, so I was sitting there all weekend playing video games and watching TV on my laptop. And the batteries hardly ever needed to be charged. It was a 2019 Kenworth T680, and it had a battery gauge that it had a battery monitor that told that, like most battery monitors, it just tells the voltage, but it also had a battery gauge that gave the percentage of the batteries. It was a bar that would show you the percentage of the battery, and it would automatically start the truck at around 45% to charge the battery, and run the truck for about, 3 to 5 hours to charge the batteries. But I could go like a full day, day and a half, maybe even 2 days off of the batteries playing on my laptop before they would need to be charged. And right now, I'm using about the same amount of power in my current truck, and the batteries only last 30 minutes to an hour. So, if these batteries are as amazing of an upgrade as I think that they might be, then what I think I'm going to do next is I'm going to have a second battery box installed, and I'm going to buy 4 more of them and hook them up, where I'll have 8 total batteries. I'm gonna wait to make that decision until I see how awesome these batteries are. I hope it's a huge improvement, because AGM batteries are intended for start-stop operations. You are not supposed to use flooded batteries for start-stop operations. Normal flooded batteries, flooded lead-acid batteries, are designed to start a vehicle and to power lights and instrumentation. That's it. That's what flooded batteries are designed to do. AGM batteries are intended for start-stop operations and to power devices inside a vehicle. So AGM are the modern batteries for the modern age. Start-stop operations, if you don't know what that is vehicles or whatever you have, an APU or whatever. If you're cranking to start an engine on the battery multiple times per day, that's start-stop operation. So if you're driving a vehicle that has an APU or an engine that automatically starts itself, or let's say you're a local driver and you're turning the truck off at every stop and then turning it back on, whatever it is that you're doing, if you're cranking an engine, whether it be an APU or a main engine, multiple times per day, more than like 2 or 3 times a day, then you're supposed to have an AGM battery. Flooded batteries are not intended for that type of use. They're only intended to start a vehicle 2 to 3 times a day and power lights and instrumentation. So I'm really hoping these AGM batteries are going to be a big improvement. I'm going to be very disappointed if they're not, because they're really expensive. They're $300 a piece, and I'm about to go buy 4 of them. So $300 a piece plus tax, $1,200 plus tax. I'm going to end up spending $1,300 or more on these batteries. And it's going to be quite a bit of work, because I'm going to replace them myself. I don't want to pay an extra $150 or so to have somebody else replace them for me. So I'm going to drive over to the Freightliner dealer. I called them earlier, and they said that they're open 24/7, and they said that I can replace the batteries in their parking lot. So I'm going to drive over there and swap out the batteries in their parking lot and then drive back. And I went ahead and brought a whole bunch of stuff with me that I can go ahead and put in the truck now. I've already done, a lot of laundry. I cleaned all my bedding material. I've already bought a whole bunch of stuff to restock the truck with, like soda and things like that. And those things can sit in the truck right now until I'm ready to go. So I brought all of that kind of stuff, all the stuff that doesn't need to be refrigerated or anything that's ready to go. I brought all of that with me. So, just getting some of the work knocked out for getting ready to leave. And the freight market seems to be on an uptick right now. I've been getting tons of load alerts yesterday and today. Well, it's Saturday now. Thursday, I got more load alerts than I have been getting, quite a bit more. And then today, Friday, oh my goodness, I was just getting flooded with load alerts all day long. It was way more than normal. Like tons and tons of load alerts today. The rates were actually up as well. Most of the Florida loads over the past several months coming out of this region to Florida have been paying around $3.50 a mile on the good paying Florida loads. Now there were several Florida loads posted today for $4.80 a mile. Many of them. There were some loads posted going to California. There were loads posted all over the place, and they were paying like $1 more per mile than what they have been posted at. And those loads were getting covered instantly. Like, there were tons of loads getting posted today, and they were disappearing off the load board as quickly as they were being posted. They were not sitting there for more than a minute or two. So people are scooping them up like crazy. But anyway, I'm hoping to leave the house sometime next week. So I wanted to get the issues with the truck resolved before I book a load. So I'll probably not be looking to book a load until Monday. But, you know, we'll see how it goes. I still need to do meal prep and a couple of other things, but it shouldn't take more than a day to do that. But anyway, I think I'm going to end the video there. At this point, I'm just procrastinating because once I end this video, I have to load all this shit in the truck. I have to drop the trailer and drive over to the Freightliner dealer. And then I have to do some pain in the ass work swapping out the batteries, because these batteries weigh like 80 pounds a piece. These are heavy batteries, and they are a pain in the ass to swap out because you have to, like, you can't lift them straight up. You have to, like, extend your arms out because they're in a tight space underneath the truck. It's really hard to get them out because of how heavy they are, and there's not a lot of room to lift them up. So it's going to be a pain in the ass to get these damn things swapped out. There's a ton of shit that I have to disconnect and then reconnect. I need to remember to take pictures of it before I do it so I can make sure to plug everything back the same way. But yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun, and I'm not looking forward to doing it. Right now, as I'm talking about it, I'm like, you know what? I would prefer to pay somebody $150 to do it. But it's too late for that now. Anyway, you know, when I get to the Freightliner dealer, I might ask them what they would charge me to swap out the batteries. You know what? I am going to ask if they're willing to do it for like $50 or something like that, then I think I would pay them to do it just because of how hard a work it's going to be. And me just sitting here thinking about lifting 80 pounds with my arms stretched out. Like, I can pick up 80 pounds straight off the ground, but there's a huge difference between that and like extended arm 80 pounds. I don't know exactly how much the batteries that are currently in the truck weigh, but the batteries I'm buying are listed as 77 pounds by the manufacturer. So yeah, that's going to be awesome. But anyway, that's it. Thanks for watching. I'll probably upload another video later whenever, you know, I get an idea of how well these batteries are going to work. And of course, whenever I leave the house and all that stuff. So, all right. Hope you're having a great week. Bye.